Hello, so here is my video for the evidence number 2. So today I wanted to challenge a powerful but misleading conception, an idea, about leadership and democracy, that being, for example, elected or even involving people through polls automatically makes a leader democratic. So let's look at this through the lens of someone who's been at the center of not only tech, but also media and controversy, which is Elon Musk. So when Elon Musk acquired Twitter, which is now called X, he made a series of leadership decisions that really seemed democratic. So he ran, for example, public poll asking users whether to reinstate bound accounts or change platform rules. But the question that I want to ask today, and I want us to ask together, would be, does running a poll really makes your leadership democratic? So we're going to look deeper into this question during this video. So first of all, regarding the case of Elon Musk and Twitter, we're going to see that in the late 2022, Elon Musk, so he bought Twitter and he quickly began changing the platform. So he launched user polls to decide on different things, such as, for example, reinstating former President Donald Trump. But not only, they were also changing content moderation policies and many other things. And he also reintroduced controversial features. So on the surface, I think this looked quite democratic because it was letting the people vote, as he said in one of his tweets. But in practice, these polls were not representative, and especially once when Twitter's verification system began favoring paying users compared to non-paying users. So binary, offering only yes or no choices to complex policy question, was also kind of biased, and sometimes the outcome were ignored or used simply to validate decision that Musk had already made. And meanwhile, Elon Musk fired thousands of employees, including entire trust and safety teams, and he makes sweeping changes to algorithms and platform rule with no transparent consultation and little accountability. So while the polls they gave the appearance of participation, the reality, I think, was really far from democratic in this case. So connecting to the first evidence that, of course, we've done in group, we can see that this situation could remind me of our own finding that we got during the different interviews. So, for example, out of the people we interviewed, more than half of them, they gave high importance to the idea that the highest office in a democracy, is the office of the citizen. So they understood basically democracy as voting, as a voice, but also as the power to the people. But I think there's a contradiction. So many students also expressed frustration that they didn't feel really heard, I think, at Tech. Their participation felt symbolic, existing, more on paper really than in practice. So I think this could, in a way, mirror what we see and what I just said with Musk and Twitter. So just as students felt their feedback was rarely translated into change, Musk polls looked like democratic inclusion, but in reality, it remained the sole decision maker in the company and in general. So it's a classic case of form without function, where participation is without the influence, I'd say. So that could be related to the different interviews that we had with people from Tech de Monterrey. So why do I think that, for example, Musk approach is people think that Musk approach is democratic? Because I think he really shows engagement. He asks questions and he uses polls, and in a society used to top-down leadership, even symbolic participation can feel revolutionary in a way. But I think here's like really the catch, because visibility is not really the same as inclusion. It's really far from it. So polling is not the same as power sharing, and people could confuse legitimization with legitimacy. Just because like someone asked doesn't mean they're listening, and it doesn't mean they're willing to act on what they hear. And as we learn in class, democratic leadership isn't just about the tools that they use, like voting or feedback. It's also about all the values that goes with it. So it could be either like transparency, but also empathy, but also like accountability in general, and of course inclusion. So these values, I think, they are often missing in Elon Musk leadership. So going on why it's not democratic leadership, I'd say that breaking it down in different parts, I'd say that democratic leadership, first of all, means open deliberation, but it also means like collective accountability, representation of diverse voices, like different voices, a safe and like equitable environment, but also to be able to like input and debate. And comparing that to what Musk's style of leadership is at Twitter, I say that like decisions are made more behind the scene and in closed doors, and the power is really concentrated into like only one individual, and the policies are also reversed or changed on a whim. So staff, as I said before, are also laid off without warning or even consultation, and this really doesn't represent democratic leadership. It's technocratic populism, performing democracy just enough to keep the control, while actual power never leaves the leader's hands. And he also like engages people just enough to justify what he already decided for everyone, let's say. So talking about the role of DEI and DYE in democratic leadership, I think I'm going to talk about something that is essential to democracy and to true democracy, which is DEY, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So in democratic leadership, there are foundational principles. So for example, if we look at what happened under Elon Musk in general, trust and safety teams, they are often made up of women, LGBTQ plus employees, and people of color, were among the first to be like laid off. And hate speech incidents also increased dramatically during with Elon Musk. And users had to pay for verification, creating like a tired system of voice and visibility in general, which has left behind in the version of democracy. So basically many people were left behind, like the more vulnerable people, but also like marginalized people and people that were like unheard. And so true democratic leadership doesn't just include those who speak the loudest or have the most followers or are certified because they're paying for it. It amplifies the voice of those who are often silenced. So democracy for me is not real unless it is equitable. And to be truly democratic, I think that a leader must, for example, center those most at risk, but also protect the integrity of participation in general, and foster an environment where all the voices matters, not just with money, power, or reach in general. So basically, if I had to conclude on what I just said, I'd say that like the core question was really, is Elon Musk a democratic leader? So at first glance, everyone, and maybe myself also, would thought yes, he used polls, he engages his audience, he shared bold ideas. But when we apply what we've just learned in the class in general about transparency, inclusion, but also power, the answer really becomes clear, and it's a no. So this case, I think it really challenges us to like, us in general and me in this case, to rethink what we believe about leadership, and are we misstating like input for participation, and are we misstating attention for accountability? Are we confusing control for consensus? So I think all of those questions become really important. And real democratic leadership isn't measured only by a poll. It's measured by how much power we're willing to share, and it's also measured by how many voices we allow to shape the future, especially, I think, those least likely to be heard. So I think it's really important to be careful and to stop accepting the illusion of democracy, and it's the moment to like demand the practice of it and not only the illusion of it. So that's it. Thank you very much.